Welcome to A Game of Ice and Fire, a video series devoted to A Song of Ice and Fire wargame by Coolman You're Not. We cover all aspects of the hobby with tactics and list build videos, painting tutorials of varying levels, and battle reports.
Okay, so my list consists of Jorman as my commander, 3 units of Sworn Brothers. One has John as an attachment. The other two have Watch Captains.
You have veterans in there, I thought.
I have a unit of veterans. Oh yeah, that's right. John's attached to the veterans.
Yep, John. So John's on veterans. Jeor's on. Was he on a veteran unit too?
He was on Sworn Brothers.
He was on Sworn Brothers, and then there were 2 units off to the side. All right, and then Ghost, of course, right?
Goes with the most.
So you just wanted to try out Jeor then?
Yep, just wanted to try him.
Okay.
And then for NCUs, I brought Craster and Amon.
Yep, all stars. I'm trying out the High Sparrow today with 2 units of Lannister Guard with guard captains. I'm bringing in crossbowmen with Bron just to increase their efficacy. And then I also have a unit of Knights of Casterly Rock, and I've attached the mounted Behemoth, I think is what his tag is, but it's Gregor Clegane on a horse, big horse. And then my NCUs, I've got the High Sparrow, of course, followed up with Cersei and Maester Pycelle. I also had 2 points to work around, but I didn't really have anywhere to put them, so I figured I might as well reach for Maimed Jaime and see how that works out in this list.
So deployment, I ended up putting my commander on the left and John up in the middle with his veterans. And then Ghost was the last one to be deployed. I wanted to kind of counteract your cavalry with him, was my thought.
Yeah.
And then Sworn Brothers just lined up with the objectives.
For the Lannister deployment, I end up sitting the crossbows directly across from the objective. That's by the palisade. I think they're going to end up staying there for most of the game. That's my hope, at least. And the palisade's going to block off any incoming charges so they can shoot out from there and take care of that bottom half of the table. The Mountain and Casterly Rock Knights, they went on the top side, more towards the middle, but they went down after the Sworn Brothers and veterans came down, so they knew where they needed to go in order to make the most out of their abilities. And then I just symmetrically put down some guardsmen on each side because it seemed like the best place for them. I also stuck Maimed Jaime in that very top unit of Sworn Brothers. I figured they would be the ones that would have a harder time getting to places and doing things, so the longer Jaime can punch them, I felt like it would work out for me in the long run. And then maximize. And then start again. Okay, so I have the first turn to go. I didn't really care about which side I got on this table. There's the 3 objectives really close to each other on either side, so it's really about who can get to the middle first, so that Palisade's going to kind of get me a little bit. So I just go with a pretty standard Lannister turn, and I just wanted to feel it once, right? So I Cersei I wanted to Cersei a Sworn Brother unit, but I did it on John first, and then had realized that he was in veterans, which I didn't want to do. So I had switched, and then since we saw the dice as I was switching it, we changed it, but it didn't change the roll at all, and Tyler lost a whopping 6 Sworn Brothers on that first turn.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yep, it feels good to be the king.
So that forces me to place down Amon.
Yeah, it's like the natural order of the game, right? Like I zap you with the crown, and then you coin it up with Amon, and that'll get you get 1 for Amon generally, plus 1 for the dead rank, and then
each dead rank, yeah.
Yep. So then you get 3, so you got 5 out there, and then I get Sparrow down on the maneuver. I don't think I need the tactics cards right now. I can wait a little bit, but I just wanted to get these crossbowmen up so that they could try and take a little bit more of an aggressive point with Bron being on them. I want to make sure they get as much work done this game as possible.
And then I just basically move forward.
Yeah, this is
toward the objective. And here I make a bit of a mistake. For some reason I was thinking marching I could go speed 8.
Yeah, you had an extra 2 inches that you could have gone. The Night's Watch stuff is all pretty similar. It's speed 5 on everything unless you're Ghost or Cavalry. So now I'm dropping Pycelle. I'm just bleeding activations out from Tyler. I grab my missive and get the cards, get weakened out, and then I think I throw vulnerable on John's veteran unit. And I'm sitting on a pretty healthy stack of cards right now. I think I've got a few panic test centric ones and some commander cards. But Jamie's unit is what I'm gonna call it. He did zap them for a couple, but they blocked him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just get my assault guard up here. Pretty standard stuff, but now you've got your Sworn Swords moving.
Yep. Moving a whole 8 inches. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm a derp.
It happens. Like when you're looking at it from the other side of the table, right? You just like, I don't know. I didn't know you were only moving 8 inches at the time. I mean, I know that I only move 8 inches because that's just the price you pay for Lannister armor. Speed.
In my defense, it's been a while since I played.
Yeah, it's been what, maybe a week or two now. I think I've been trying to get a rotation of other people in here too, so we're bringing more diversity to the channel. But as always, it's a pleasure to have you over. So I'm glad we can get some more games in. Ghost is getting pretty aggressive up there.
Yep. Was thinking I would deter your cavalry.
Well, and using those dogs to get onto the objectives really early is super nice too. I think, so yeah, more getting crossbowmen in the right position. I really wanted to get them on that objective, so getting the maneuver to do so is good. And then I think I out-activate you by 1 or 2 things, something like that. Stupid RV.
It's a big RV.
It's nice outside in Wisconsin, so I have the window open, but some douchebag.
That's some
in his
fine
RV.
luxury camping right there.
I know, that's why he beeped the horn. He's like, "Hey, honey, look at the."
Let's go camping without camping.
Yeah.
Let's bring her home with us.
Look at the camper I got. We're here. Beep beep.
I'm gonna get laid tonight.
Oh, I tell you.
Sorry.
Old people.
Probably demonetize your video.
I don't monetize my videos, but
Oh.
I try to keep it clean. So we're on to turn 2 right now, right? Yeah, because we cleared the board, and Tyler's got the top of this one. So just to go over what the objectives are, closer to the bottom of the screen is the putting out vulnerable and weakened token. The one that the crossbowmen are on is you take D3 wounds, but have vicious and sundering when you attack with melee. So they're not really getting anything out of that. The middle objective is you force your opponent to draw 1 less card when redrawing. The one that's by all the Sworn Brothers right now is worth 2 victory points, but it zaps you with a -2 panic test every turn, which I think we forgot to do this whole game.
I think it's is it a separate one or is it cumulative?
It's separate, so it would have been.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
forgot to
that's
be
a
doing
bummer.
that.
But oh well, live and learn. And then the last one on the top is D3 wounds when you score it. And then so there's some spicy objectives out here. I'm quite happy to see that the shutting off an NCU one is not on the table at all. But now you've gone right up onto that panic test objective and pretty much camped those Sworn Brothers out there.
Yep.
So again, I'm just going back through this rinse and repeat thing of I'm gonna throw up NCUs first to bleed out activations to get Tyler to come closer. Now I don't need the coin for anything other than really the condition. So I'm gonna get the Sparrow's influence out on Clegane's unit to make sure Lannister supremacy goes off more frequently, or with more assurity, if that's a word. It's more likely to happen.
More often.
Yep. And I also want that money bag to turn on Bron so I can start shooting massive crossbows. And Tyler's trying to give me the first turn token.
I thought you were running him as the free NCU.
No.
So after this report was done, because he does have rules, you get to edit the outcome.
That's kind of the rough.
Fictional.
That's the rough thing about videotaping it, though, is that you can't really tell the story differently because it happens all in front of you.
Yeah. Hmm.
You ever notice you say like videotape and it's like this is all digital. It was recorded digitally. It's not like I sat here with a B track or something and
I'm stuck in the 90s.
just like looped it up. Yeah.
Can't help myself.
Oh, Jeor's getting busy on the tactics board, but he's
Old
taking
man
that bottom
time. Get
zone.
off my lawn.
Yep, and I'm happy to see that the veterans are not in his unit because that seems to be typically how I play him the whole one time I've ever done it. But seeing Sworn Swords on there makes it so that maybe I can try and hack them off. But with my little stubby legs, I've got a ways to go. And oh, we missed it. We kind of have a weird timing trigger here, so I'm using Bron to shoot, or Bron's unit is shooting the dog right now. And probably a little bit of a misplay on my part because I should have done this with the swords instead of with Bron's unit, instead of their normal activation. But I want to take out that dog because the dogs are most suited to sit on some of those objectives that are hard for me to get to, and he comes down really, really easily. I mean, it was till your last save that he died because we had to split the saves. But it was. I'm glad that he didn't tank all those shots because I think I hit with 7 of them. I think it was 7 because I missed 2.
Yeah.
So taking an activation off the table from you before you've used it is really good for me because now I can start making that NCU bleeding work a lot better or more efficiently. And you're just converging with Sworn Brothers on the top of the screen there. They're just kind of slowly creeping in on
Aggressive wall expansion.
Yep. And then you've settled the top unit has it's the sword that the sword that protects the realms of men, and
Shield.
then the shield one is on the unit that's
The sword is the sword in the darkness vow.
sword in the darkness. Jeez, I'm gonna put them all together, right? Because I think the second from the top unit has the shield that guards the realms of men, and then that top unit has sword in the darkness plus another vow. But I might be getting that mixed up. But you can see that Clegane and the Lannister dudes are kind of going off in that general direction. They're just committing there. I can probably just leave the guard on that objective on the side for a while and not have to worry about losing them anytime soon. So here we've just got we're discussing some, what is it? Movement, not politics, but we're just trying to go over movement stuff because it has been a while since you've played, and you were hoping that you could march to get onto that objective.
Yeah, I was thinking that I could march and get on it, but the palisade's blocking me. Oh, no.
Yeah,
it was,
this is where we were trying to get the angle right because
the-
you have to march directly forward, and then I have you put one of these down, but then we've got to move it over a little bit because they do
I
have
was
to march
thinking
directly
that
forward.
when you march, you get a pivot, and then you get to move times 2 your speed, and then that was it. Maybe another free pivot. You corrected me in saying that I have to pivot and then move in a straight line.
Nope, it's the other way around.
Or the other way around?
You move double your speed and straight
In a
ahead,
straight line.
whatever your direct facing is, where the little arrow is.
That's
and
very
then
restrictive for a game mechanic.
Well, it's marching, so you get double the speed but less positioning, so you have to think more about where you want to end up. So it's not that it's restrictive. I mean, it is, but by nature it has to be so that you can kind of engage more with the nuance of moving. So like we always talked about War Machine being more of a game of chess instead of checkers, and I feel like that kind of applies here a little bit in that you can only move in certain directions, and if you want to move far, you've got to make the sacrifice of not being able to move accurately or having to add plan to make sure that you could get there the right way. But you put Craster on the tactics board, which I was not super happy about because it's one that I wanted.
You want all of them.
Well, I really, I'll take the crown if it's there, but I want my coin and my tactics because I want the High Sparrow's tactics cards are legit, and the Lannister cards are awesome too.
I think that was a panic test.
Yeah, this is where Cersei went down on that unit. I'm really just trying to hammer them off that objective because I know that it's going to be a real pain in the butt you scoring 2 victory points each turn. But forgetting to do the panic test was a real bummer on my part. And I should have remembered because I was counting up 2 every time, but we just forgot to do the panic test because Cersei's influence and Cersei's influence will work on that, so they would have gotten hammered. But whatever. Moving past it. So I think you're at a point now where you really don't know what you want to do because you're very worried about the mountain.
Story of my life. Worried about some shenanigans you're pulling.
And the reason why I'm playing the mountain and Bron in this list, because I usually only limit myself to what's available at normal retail even in my own like home games. But there's a tournament coming up in Wakanda, Illinois. And here's Jaime punching a sworn sword. Got him good.
One Punch Man.
And at this tournament, they're allowing Kickstarter released models. So I'm like, well, I'm not a prime Lannister player, but this seems like a good time to throw the mountain down. Because why wouldn't I? So I'm just because I've played him once so far, maybe twice now. And those times I remember him doing some pretty harsh work. We just had to remember what the objective was. And I was like, oh, great. You got the objective that you can get wounds back now that Jaime's punching some of them off. So this is the first tactics card I play, and it's Wrath of the Warrior. So the Lannister Guard pass their morale check, especially with the tree. So they do real well there. They're going to charge in to Jaime's unit, or Mamie, because it's named Jaime.
Say the precursor to Reek.
No. Great.
Theoretically.
I don't know.
He only lost one member of his body.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Jaime's doing pretty well for himself. So you're taking some saves. Oh no, that was morale that you were taking, and I think you played. Did you play Jeor's?
No.
No, you didn't.
No, it's not. Yeah.
I don't know what. We must have been rolling saves weird. Or I missed the order. But the Lannister Guard did an all right job. I mean, they took out 2, I think, which is not great when you consider the Wrath of the Warrior, but they roll 6 dice, and I mean, it's better than nothing, right? So now you're swinging back onto them. Or no, you're not swinging back. You decided to use Craster. Or Aemon. No, you're swinging back. I'm just losing my mind. So Aemon goes down on the swords so that Jaime's unit can swing back into the Lannister Guard. And I think I spent the weaken token, and I ended up getting the same amount of hits anyways because you missed with one but rolled a 6 on another.
Yeah, and I got 3 hits in, so...
Yep, so I save 3, you spend vulnerable token, and I lose 2, 3 it looks like. 3 guard. And I do fail my panic test, but I use the order to make him pass it. And then it looks like you fail by 2 because the tree's there, so that's -2 then, or -2 for Lannister supremacy, plus 1 for the stupid tree, and then so you fail by 2. Yep, because you're -1. What's a plus, a minus? And now Clegane's got to go.
Yeah, this guy.
Because I want to get this unit off that objective, because the deal of it is that I'm not going to outscore you right now. I've got 1 objective and you've got 3. Could get 4 maybe. Well, no, you can't get 4, but you got 3 for sure. So I mess up my charge, and I'm not getting rerolls here. So I like a boss. I
like a casino cheater.
I hit with
you
everything.
Hit with everything.
And 2 6s, so it's 11 saves, and then Clegane's D3 puts it up to 12 wounds total, 12 potential wounds that are sundering.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Well, it's 11 potential wounds and 1 straight wound, but so now you're saving on 5s, which is not where you want to be. And I see a lot of good numbers there, but it looks like you actually pulled a 5 back when you should have kept it.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you mixed a 5 in there. But that so that could have changed the way this worked out too. You fail. I make you re-roll the 5 from your panic test, and that makes you fail by enough to where, is it the whole unit? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that 1-5 would have stopped it, because I think you failed by just enough, to lose the unit. So now I'm just pivoting the Lannister guard so they can face the right way and still be on that objective. Getting D3 wounds back on them will be a nice little bonus. I also
and you opted to take the free maneuver.
I took the free maneuver because I was being an adult, and you can see me pointing at the card now where I'm like, I forgot to do overrun, and you had offered it to me, but I said no, I'm not gonna take the overrun order. So, because I had done the maneuver and it was said and done with. So, didn't get to live the dream with the mountain there, but that was some righteous vengeance. They got Jamie back all right. So
vengeance, brutality. I'm leaning more toward brutality, but
yeah. So we got Jamie back and went up 2 points. The main reason why he's in here is because with the units that I have, I only had 2 points left over, so I needed to do something or nothing. And the only way I could do that is by either putting a different unit attachment on the Lannister guard or adding Jamie in. He's a Kickstarter model and I haven't used him. So I was like, yeah, let's throw him in there. And he was worth a point. So I'll take that. 2 points for a victory point. So now you're just maneuvering with these guys, right?
yeah, I'm just maneuvering because I can't get the objective.
Yeah, so you're just trying to set
I
yourself up for next turn.
I just want to play it somewhat safe.
Yep.
Though you're in the mountains, so nothing I have is safe.
Well, Jeor's safe. He's far enough away.
Yeah, hiding behind a corpse pile.
The mountains here. Get behind the dead bodies. You won't see us.
His vision is based on movement. Don't move.
So we're scoring now, and I go up 2 more points because I own the far back one, the one on the top of the screen, and the one on the by the palisade where those crossbowmen are hanging out in their field of not killing anything anytime soon.
Yeah, because you got 1 for killing that unit.
Yep, and I got 1 for Jamie, and then 2 for the objectives. And you got 3 for, and like I said, we forgot panic tests this whole game, so it is what it is. So you go up to your 3 points, you score the 2 from the top, and then Jeor's on the bottom. But now I've got the top of the turn, and I have some difficult choices here because my normal MO with this list is to just bleed you out with NCUs to put you in a bad position. But the thing is you're not really in a bad position. Well, I'm not in the position to put you in a bad position with making you activate because Clegane is so far forward. I think I could activate an NCU and put them on the maneuver so that I could pull Clegane back a little bit to make you come forward. But I don't think you're leaving that objective, so I instead opt to just go for the charge right away. And I'm close enough to where a 1 will get me in, but I roll a 2, so I have no penalties to I could get my rerolls. So we're going 50-50 on this one, and I can't remember if that unit's weakened this turn or not. They end up hitting with everything, and there's the weakened token being used. And that one is not as great, I think. Well, it was all right. All right enough to roll 8 saves. I think I'll take that. So massive casualties. And I think I forget to do the D3 wounds from Clegane here, but then we correct that like almost immediately.
Yeah, and you spent, so I had to reroll my panic die.
Yeah, exactly. And it didn't do much for me, I think.
And then I place Amon down right away.
You need to. And then I respond by putting Pycelle on those swords so that I can attack again. And that D3 wounds is really what I'm hoping to do work with. So there's the one from the previous turn. And now we're swinging again. And 6 dice is kind of mopey. But the D3 wounds... Oh, no, I'm
sorry. I put Craster down.
Yeah, Craster went down. So I don't... Oh, this is where I blow up that unit to almost... Yeah, it's 1 guy left. And you have a panic test now, don't you? Yep, you do, because you throw down Jeor's card where you get to roll 3 dice. and drop the lowest.
Yeah, and it's a vow.
Yep,
So.
which is a pain in my butt. So like, I was really hoping that unit would go down, but Jeor saves it. And if this were like Jon Snow instead, and that were his stupid, if I pass a panic test, I stay alive on one guy, it's essentially the same thing. But regardless, it's a pain in the butt.
So now I put Aemon down, but I end up taking the pony.
Yeah, you want the maneuver so you can try and get to that objective.
Yep.
And you're just trying to figure out which way you want to face, because you've got the crossbowmen on my in front of you, and then Clegane on the side of you. But there's those 4.
I got the 2 dangers on the left, and then I got Clegane on the right, and
Yeah.
it's just all sorts of bad. Everything is terrible.
Yep, it's not looking super great for those sworn swords up top. So here, I shift forward enough just to where I can still clip the back of their base for my line of sight. And then I have the range just by angling my from the middle to shoot these guys. I don't have the coin, so it's kind of a bummer. But and then I hit with 3 of them. It was a bad roll, and then you block all 3 with.
Yeah, with the shield vow.
That was a bummer. That's what happens when you don't give Bron any money. He doesn't do anything for you.
Just makes quips and quotes.
Yep. He probably talked to him about how they couldn't hit the broadside of a giant or something.
Told them they were all shit.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm still on that objective and still guarded by the palisade, so I'm not sitting too bad with the crossbowmen. Of course, I want them to do work because they're sitting at 8 points right now. But they did. They killed Ghost, which is worth it to me. These are the mopey Sworn brothers just like swinging in on Clegane's unit. I have Wealth of the Rock in my hand here, and I'm like, I'm not going to use it. So you make me reroll with Vulnerable. I take 1 wound, but now Lannister Supremacy goes off. I throw my dice like a wild man, and this is why I need big bulky dice trays so I can hit the spot. It's like teaching a kid to pee. You gotta like put something in the toilet for them to hit. I need a dice box so I don't take out people's models.
And I passed my panic test.
I know, it's so frustrating. So that unit's just still holding on, and now I've moved the Lannister guard up far enough to where they're still on the objective, but they're close enough to where they can charge next turn if they want to or if they need to. So I think you have Jeor and the veterans left, right? Because the veterans moved off of the maneuver position on the tactics board. So I think here you're just really you're
I don't have many good choices left.
Yeah, you're at a standstill. You're like, well, I'm on these objectives.
These are mine.
Yep.
This is my lawn. You can't have it.
And that's what you have to do in this game mode. For Game of Thrones, it's more about there's so many objectives and they do so many things that there's no real reason for you to come into me, which is what having Lannister Guard is almost like, is you have to like throw them far enough forward and let your opponent like come into them. So really I want to get on the objectives early, but in taking the side that has the more defensively placed objectives, I kind of screwed myself a little bit because my Lannister Guard have now got to like trundle up the board and try and get there to these other ones. So not picking the side might come back and bite me a little bit here with that idea, because my list other than Clegane is really slow. But the crossbowmen influence a lot of the table. There's just nothing for them to shoot at other than those vets.
Yeah, they're threatening. I killed my dog.
You stay there, I shoot you. You stay there again.
Sure wish I took range. Nope, I wanted watch captains, which actually this is the first game I've played where having 2 vows attached really made a difference.
Yeah, all the vows that you got on them all were doing something every time they hit. I imagine that was a panic test. Oh, it was probably from Cersei, right? Did I miss Cersei coming down on the crown?
I think it was.
It might have been. I was too busy looking at the crossbowmen when I was talking to them to know what I did. Another thing that's happening for me right now is I'm sitting on a ton of defensively based Lannister cards. I've got Fealty to the Crown, Lannister pays their debts and 2 Mercy of the Mother in my hand. And you've got the make me draw 1 less card, so I think I was a little bit hesitant to pitch those, especially since like I do like playing more defensively. So having defensive cards in my hand was just like Christmas. But they weren't really going to help me win right now, so I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive with pitching these.
So I play a vow that allows me to search for
You played Jeor's card that
Jeor's
lets
card
you
that allows
search
me to
for a
search
vow.
for a vow.
Yep. And then you put was that the horn that wakes the sleeper? Was that the one you got, or was this later?
No, those are stuck in my hands.
Ah.
No, the fire that burns is stuck in my hand. I was waiting for you to expend tokens.
Yep.
Which you
I did when I needed to. So
when you needed, not when it was game changing.
Yep. So we're scoring again now, and I've got my 2 objectives, and I heal my D3 back there on the. I think I took the 1 wound off of Clegane's unit, and you're up to 7 now. So now I'm kind of like in panic mode, because you've got the top of this turn, and I need to get those stupid sworn swords off that objective.
And I know exactly what I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah, this is where you unpack Amon with the coin so you can heal back like almost like 2/3 of the unit. You get like a rank +2 back, right? Yeah.
Yep, a rank +2 just for Amon himself, and
Yep.
3 and remove a condition.
And this is where like when people want to talk about how the mountain's broken. Yeah, the mountain can do some broken and twisted stuff. And I think if I would have done the overrun order, this might not be as big of a problem as it is right now. But if you jam them up, he's really just throwing those D3 and then those 6 hits that the Lannister or the Casterly Rock Knights get. It's hard to get there. So you have to be creative in how you free up the mountain so that you can get some of these things to happen. But that is what's going on right now, is the mountain swung in, did a few wounds, but nothing too egregious, I'd say.
Yeah.
Only lost like, 4 guys?
This is the top of the tension right here, is you need to get that unit off of that objective.
Yep, because if I don't, I lose. Like 100% I will lose if that unit doesn't die this turn.
So I'm hoarding my cards trying to save that unit. I don't have a lot of options.
Yep, and you take the crown from me to try and stop me from zapping your guys back.
Yeah.
Which was a really good move, because Cersei did come down on, or maybe she didn't. That looks like it could be. I think Cersei is on the swords because she influenced that unit. And then I was hoping to get someone else on that crown to take it.
Because I left the shields on them, and I have Jorman's card on them, so I can discard that vow to automatically pass them around a panic test.
Yep. So even if I kill you through panic tests, you're still going to be able to stop that from happening. So I end up putting Pycelle on the maneuver, and I probably do this a little prematurely, but because you've put your 2 NCUs out, but I retreat off of you so that I can charge in again. And what I think I should have done here was waited to do that until you activate that Night's Watch unit, because I have the Mercy of the Mother in my hand to restore wounds if I need it. I have Wealth of the Rock, so if you attack me, I can get a 2+ save instead of a 3+ save. So I really think I just made a error in my activation order there. I should have waited for that unit to activate before retreating.
And then you look up the rule to where retreat, I get a free pivot.
Yep, I retreat so infrequently that I just don't remember how it works.
Must be nice.
Well, I'm an aggressive player.
So I want to maintain that objective at all costs. I can't pivot too much at all.
Exactly. So you're kind of in this point where like you're giving. Right now, if you don't activate that unit, I'm 100% going to get the flank on those guys.
Do not want.
Yep. So I'm putting you in a really hard spot in that you absolutely need to activate them, because Jeor and the veterans, they're not moving either, right? Like they have to stay on those objectives.
No.
So this is the only thing you can
camp.
do, and you decide to maneuver so that you could back up and stay on that objective a little bit.
I'm absolutely more concerned about the cavalry getting a flank in.
Yep.
So I'll take a flank from the swordmen.
Yeah, the cavalry on the charge are sundering, so sundering from the side, plus they'd get panicked and have like -3 to their morale test. So +1 for the tree though. So I'm just gonna get in on the front of them. It's not a surprise that Clegane's unit has activated. And now I'm just checking my hand to see if there's anything I can throw down to make it worth buffing them up a little bit. And like I said, I'm sitting on nothing but defensive cards. I think by now I've drawn up like another fealty to the crown, and it's just my hand is not full of the cards that I would want, because I really would have liked to have seen counterplot at some point so I could stop the Jeor cards. And here we get confused. You get confused on a trigger because you thought that this is Jeor's other card that lets you...
I thought it said if this unit is attacked, your opponent can't play any tactics cards, but at the end of the attack, discard all vows. The card actually reads when this unit attacks. And I'm not attacking with that unit, so
it's like winter is coming for Night's Watch. So I hit with a ton of attacks, but the weakened token that was on them from Jeor's objective gets
Winter's
used.
coming is for Starks, actually.
And it was terrible. So they only hit 3 times with no 6s, but Clegane did do 2 auto
and
wounds.
Here I only block 1 with my shields, which is very disappointing.
I know, that makes me very happy. So this is a Hear Me Roar. So now you're like -5 to your morale save or your panic test.
Yep.
And I really want you to fail it to use that card, because I want to try and get more panics on you.
And here I only lose 1 from that morale, so I'm like, no, I'll keep.
Yep, you keep the
card on it.
You keep the stupid card.
And secretly, I have a second one in my hands in case he tries some Lannister shenanigans.
That would have really not been fun. So now I'm still kind of in panic mode here, and my only saving grace is the Lannister guard that are on the top of the screen. The bottom of the screen is basically like nothing right now. I don't really care what's going on down here. I don't have the right units to get onto these objectives to start carving some of them off. Like Lannister guard aren't throwing enough attacks, and they've got to cross a corpse pile. So I thought I was being cute by putting them out in front of the corpse pile and trying to goad you off of that objective. But you were not having any of that.
Nope, none of it.
You just say, Jeor's going to sit
night
here.
For that old man. He ain't going nowhere.
He's just sitting there. So I think the crossbowmen haven't activated yet, but I'm really just wanting to get this out of the way. So I pivot them to figure out, like, okay, how do I... There's a lot of, like, planning that goes in on this one, and this is where, like, it's always nice to have an empty base with you. I'm using the Peacekeeper games pivot things to make sure that I'm not, like, cheating anyone. And I finally find the arc that works the best for me, especially considering the distance that I've got to roll. And it's a 4. The best I can get out of this is a 4. So I grab the very first casino die I ever purchased and have a small ritual here, and then realize that, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, so you're just going to hold off on that.
Yep, so I said I'm going to move the Lannister guard this way, but I really want to get the High Sparrow down so I can go on to the missive and get some more cards.
Yep.
So I do get to boost them up with the High Sparrow's influence, and one of the cards I did draw was the Warrior's Might or Presence or something like that. It's the one that if you pass a morale test when you activate, you can get Sundering and +1 to hit. So I'm very happy that I stopped myself before I committed to that, so that I could make that, so I could pick that card up. Because I've been kind of looking at peanuts lately in terms of trying to help me win this game.
So
we're on to the charge.
You have a lot of things you need to have succeed.
Yep, I make the 5. There's my little celebration.
So that was your first.
Yep, and we're on the side.
Success.
We already figured that out. So now I messed the timing, so I'm just walking it back so I can get the Warriors thing. I passed the morale test, so now I've got my 6 dice hitting on 3s on the side, double Sundering, re-rolling a couple misses. That's 5 saves.
And here I go to block a bunch, and I roll
And
poorly.
you roll 1, so there's 4 left. You're vulnerable, and you need
So that was the
6s to
second
save.
thing, yep. Now your third and final thing.
This is
I get 4 saves, and any 6s will save me.
Yep.
And
Bam.
I roll none.
None. Not a single 6. So I don't even need to worry about Jeor's panic card.
And I have no cards in my hand that can save me. I had 2 the fire that burns in case you were to expend the tokens.
Yep. And then we figure out that once the once we tally up the points, because I thought when we scored it would have been I would have we would have I thought that I would have been behind one. Still, I would have been at 9, and then you would have been at 9 as well. But then when we recalculated the points out,
Yeah.
with killing that unit and scoring the 2-point objective, I would have went from, or I would have, and the crossbowman, I would have went from 6 to 10, and you would have gone to from 7 to 9 with only having those 2 other objectives.
Yep.
So
And I could have left the with John's unit. I could have left that one and charged the guardsman, but
yeah,
I didn't. So
we kind of figured out
it was it was such a good game. It came down to the wire.
I think if there's anything that the Mountain does, like for his credit, it's that he definitely makes it so you have to think solely about him and where he's going. So you start to lose track of those things. Like if we would have done the math the turn before, you could have just charged John's unit off of the objective into those Lannister guard that came in on the side and just blocked them there, and then I've got no way out. I just auto lose that game at that point. So definitely a lot to pay attention to, but a good game overall.
Very good game.
I did try a new angle for this video, so leave some comments below. Let me know what you think about it. A few people had asked for a little bit closer image or closer shot on what we're doing, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm open to, whatever people are interested in, really. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Check us out on Facebook at Big Top Gaming, and then not to confuse you, but I also have a podcast now called Game of Ice and Fire, and I've got a link to that in the description as well. So make sure you check out all that fun stuff, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, like the video, all that fun stuff. And I look forward to making the next video for you.